All right, so Pear Deck. Pear Deck is a student response system. There's a bunch of them out there. One of the other popular ones is Nearpod. The reason why I like Pear Deck is that it's very minimal setup for us because we already use Google with our kids. So we don't have to provision accounts for people. We don't have to get into building in a different builder. Pear Deck can work directly in Google Slides. So if you open up a new slide document, you can go to slides.new just to quickly do that. You should have this little button here that says Pear Deck. This is what we're going to be working with. It's an add-on. You can also find it under here. I pushed it out. If you don't have it, you can just go to Get Add-ons. And then within this box, that'll pop up in a second. It's already number 1, but you could also search up here to install it. So here's how it works is you have your slide like we have in front of us right now. And on here, you can type a question, whatever you want, like, are you, right? Like we would in class. And normally in class, this is where we might go to our popsicle sticks to randomly select a student. What Pear Deck allows us to do is call on every single student. So using the add-on, we're going to click on the button that says Pear Deck. I've already set it up. If you haven't, you might get some sort of permission steps that you just need to go through on the first time. Most add-ons do that. They should. Just go ahead and click through them. But that's going to open up this little sidebar here. Some of it's some really cool stuff, but the main meat and potato that we're going to focus on is right here. Ask students a question. So we have the premium version right now. So you guys can ask different types of questions. Of course, you have text, multiple choice, number. I'll show you in a little bit what website is. They can draw, you can drag. And the cool part about this is when you insert these, any of the data that the kids enter, you can download later into a spreadsheet. So for grading, you can get this information. So it's really easy to add a question like, how are you? I want to add a text box. Let's go ahead and click that. It's going to do its little magic in the background. And the way that you can tell this is a Pear Deck interactive slide is this bar down here. And if you want to learn a little bit more, it will put some more stuff into the speaker notes here. You see, I have a whole bunch of ones on the side. Instead of kind of talking about each, I thought it would be cool to demo it. So build your slides like you normally would, where you would insert your check for understanding questions. You can go ahead and use this builder on the side to insert whatever it is you want. When you're ready to present to the kids, you hit Start Lesson. And then it's going to ask you student self-paced, instructor paced. Instructor paced is real time. So if you're on a meet call with your students or in your classroom and you want to be in charge of moving slides and kind of determining the order that or when they get this, you choose instructor. Self-paced is more of an asynchronous, like you create a slide deck, you give it to the students, they complete it on their own time. For this one, we're going to start with an instructor pace because you can actually switch easily in between these. So I'll go ahead and click on instructor pace. Yep, go ahead and log me in. Yep, that's my account. All right, and so this is the teacher presentation that they're going to see. Okay, it gives me a dashboard. So if I was doing this in a classroom, I might split screen, put this on the bar or this on the board and have this in the background. And so here's what you do. You have multiple options to give this to your students. You can tell them to go to joinpd.com and enter this code. You can invite them to a class. So if you have this hooked up to Google Classroom, I can literally click there. This is the fun part, is the waiting. Select the class I want to send it to, and then it will invite them. I don't have you guys in the class, so I can't do that. Or you can do a link. Sorry, hold on. I'm recording something. Interruptions. All right, or you can do a link right here. So we'll click there. I'm going to go to the meet call, and I'm going to drop it in the chat for you guys. If you guys can go ahead and click on that. Hey, we got 1 student connected. 2 students connected. 3, 4. Give it a second for everyone to get in there. Again, the super fun part of waiting.
I'm on my phone right now, so it works.
Sweet. So it works via the phone as well. All right. How many people do we have in this call right now? 16. So I'll give it another few seconds for everyone to get in. So again, multiple ways. You can use the joinpd.com, give them this code, give them the letters, not the words, invite via Google Classroom, or give them a link. So 3 different ways to do it. All right, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and hit start class so we can see this. So right now we're on teacher paste. So your screen should be showing you this right now. You should not be able to click on. If you want to go ahead, oops, move this out of the way so I can get all the options done here. I can see 7 out of 10 people already responded. If I click here, it's going a little slow. I can get a little bit of information about how you responded. So again, no need to pull a popsicle stick, especially in an online setting. It's kind of difficult to do. We can get that info right here. One more person want to respond? Or are we good? There we go, 11. All right, so now I'm going to switch to the next slide. So what are you currently watching? This should be another short answer question. You see if I pull it up here too, we can see in real time. Monica, is that you?
How did you know?
Oh, because my daughter went through that phase too. Nothing. I've watched all the things. There's nothing left. I don't know. My wife's found some show on Amazon Prime called 15. That was like Ryan Reynolds' first show. It's like a really bad Canadian Saved by the Bell. So if you haven't watched that, this person has something to watch. Got a lot of Tiger King fans.
What was that one called, Bradford?
15, a very bad Canadian version of Saved by the Bell. But it stars a very young Ryan Reynolds as the cool skateboarding kid. Anyways, so yeah, so that's a short response again, like the first one. And then we have, of course, multiple choice. And you'll see as people respond up here, you get this real-time feedback. So in a non-digital only setting, you could totally use this in your class, project up here, get this information in real time. Like people are changing their vote between tired and tired.
I was actually curious what happened if I clicked on it again, if it came up at a second answer switch.
It changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's cool because then people, I could also hide this though, so you don't even know. So maybe we could do it and I could be like, okay, cool. Let's show responses. All right, it's not D. Go again. Try another one. And you can continue going and going without having to go back and modify questions and everything. All right, let's try the next question. So this one's cool. So this is a drag and respond. So on your screen, you should have a green thumbs up. You click on that green thumbs up and then you drag and drop it along this line. So if you're trying to take a kind of a pull on a Likert scale, you could do that. If you're doing something with history and you want them to drop a point onto a map, they could do that. In math, you could put up a problem with an error in it and say, hey, put the check mark next to where the error is. When we do show responses, yes, no one's at meh. Awesome. So it's another one of the options here. Let's keep going. And then we have one for student browse. So what this does is you'll see on your screen that you have the website, peardeck.com, opening up on your screen. So if you want to direct the kids to a website, but not have them have to open up a complete other tab, you can actually embed it in there as well. And I could put on here some questions. I didn't, but I could put on here some questions about the website. So a fun little piece for research. All right. And then last one. This one's cool. So in slides, you can embed whatever you need to, including videos. So I have a video here that my kids could watch. And then I have an open-ended question where they could respond. So I know some people are like recording instruction, putting it into video. Yeah, you probably need permission. I realized that afterwards. Record a short video and then, hey, I want you to respond to this, be able to get the responses in there as well. So that's pretty much the different question types. You have, let's see, short response. You have multiple choice. You have our friend where they kind of drag stuff. You can also put in multiple icons too. I only did a thumbs up and thumbs down, so you can do a bunch of different stuff. You have the browse the internet. And then again, just a little hack that you can do is you can kind of mimic. I know people like Edpuzzle. You can kind of mimic that by putting your videos in here and then just giving them a question. Any questions so far? Now that we've kind of seen it a little bit more, I want to take a pause and see where you guys are at.
A long time ago, Bradford, I did a similar, I can't remember if it was this Pear Deck or something else, but I did one where I could have a graph, like a grid in the background, and then the kids drew a line. Can I do that on this?
I think I just forgot to put a draw question in here, but yes, you could.
You can do it. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the question types. You could also on this one make the background a graph and then give them the dots and say, okay, drop the dots where they go. Okay. I just did this real fast, but anything that you can design normally in a slide, kids can do on here. That's another reason why I like this, is that most of us know how to use Google Slides already, so it's not like it's going to need any special skills to switch over to this. Good question though, Monica. I forgot to include the draw question.
I have a question. Just on their end, what I've been struggling to figure out is, like, there's no way to do this without them having two windows open, right?
What do you mean two windows
like
open?
Like the Google Meet open, and then also, like, if I wanted to do, so like, would I present anything in my Google Meet, or would it just be my face and then share the link with them?
So at that point, you wouldn't need, you would still, are you trying to do it live, like in person with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would still need to share.
Just the way we did it right now, basically, right?
Yeah, you would need to share the link with them and then give them access to this. But the cool part is, like, I hid the Meet because unless I want to see your faces, I have control of your screen right now. I'm choosing what you're seeing because it's in teacher-led mode. But if you wanted to switch it to student-led, that's why I asked that question about, are you trying to do it in person with them or more asynchronously, because that's a different piece.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else? Before we move on, show a little bit more about it. Okay. So I keep mentioning asynchronous mode. Really easy. So you can do it from the get-go or from here. If I was to click on these three dots and go on to turn on student paste, that now gives me a different link that I can assign for homework, so to speak. So if I share this link with my students, got it. Okay, got it. They will see what I'm seeing. They'll be able to click through. Actually, I'll show you on a demo that hasn't logged in yet. Yep. Go ahead and sign in. So this is like what a student would see if you do a homework mode version. They have this check-in. You can turn this off, but hey, it doesn't hurt to kind of see how they're doing. And this is what they would see. Very similar to what you saw, but you'll notice this little addition here. I can now scroll through at my own pace. And same thing like you guys had. But this ability versus beforehand, me as the teacher was controlling it. So if I was to do this with my kids in class on a Meet call, I'd probably leave it in instructor mode so I can do it live with them. And then for the kids who weren't able to make the Meet call, who are going to do it on their own time, just switch it over to student paced mode. And what's cool is even if I close that, my student paste mode is still going without me having it open. It kind of runs in the background, and I'll show you where that is in a second. So you could start it, share the link, and then get out of it and not have to worry about the kids not having access to it until you turn it off. Okay, so that's creating it. That is live versus student paste mode. Let's look at some of the backend stuff in here. So if you go to peardeck.com and you click on teacher login, it will ask you to log in with your Google account. You'll know you have premium because you have this little crown on your picture. If you don't have this little crown, post something in the YPICS help desk channel that we created in Slack, and I will reach out to Pear Deck to get you in there. Pretty sure I got every single teacher, but some people were saying that they didn't get emails yet, so might just need to reach out to them. Oop. Let me refresh it real fast. So when you're having connection issues. All right. So from here, if I scroll down, you can see I have my present from Drive. You can also present from here. But if I click on sessions, this is where I'll find all of my sessions. So you see I still have a few that are live. And I have this one, which is the one that we just started. It says status student paste. That means that it's currently ready for students to kind of go at their own pace. What I'm going to do is click on the three dots here. I'm going to turn that off, and now it goes back to live. That's when it becomes teacher instructed again. So another way to turn on the student pace mode right there. When we are done with it, we will go ahead and click end session. And that's going to change the status to closed. That's important because in order to download data from this and get you kind of what the kids wrote in there, you need to change it to closed. Okay, well, from here, we'll click on the three dots, export to spreadsheet. And what that's going to do is it's going to go into the Pear Deck session and it is going to pull out all the results and drop them into a nice spreadsheet for us. That way, from one area, you can get a glimpse of how your kids are doing. Just like that. And there you go. So now, instead of having to go into multiple slideshows or go into all sorts of different areas, everything's in this nice little area right here for you. Any questions? Nope.
Can you duplicate a session?
Right click. No, you can't. But you can start multiple sessions from the same slides. Like you'll see down here, these three are the same slide deck, but I have multiple sessions going with that. So it's kind of annoying. You have to go in and you have to hit start twice, and it'll be two different URLs for your kids. But that would be the kind of the workaround for that, Tanya.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like with my live, I would want to close it right away, but then I would want to keep one open. And the way students turn things in, it's gonna, might be a few days before I can close the second one.
Yeah, so that would just be making sure that your kids have the right link to join the one that's in student paste mode.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, if you're going to give them a few days to do it, you may not necessarily immediately need the data. So you can just actually take it back. Here's how we're going to fix this. So this one's closed. I downloaded the information. From here, you can go back in. I can reopen it, and then I can turn it on to student paste. I think that would solve what you're kind of looking for, because I think you're trying to extract some information, and then make it live again for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be what to do, is go in here, end it, export the spreadsheet, and then reopen it and make it student based. That way, then you don't have to go into the slides and restart things. You can do it all in that 10 seconds that it took us right there. Good question, though. Any other questions? Nope. All right, so I'm going to end the recording, and I'll stick around for a little bit if you guys have anything that you want to talk about that wasn't being recorded. So thank you.